Om. 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 Sahana vavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Saha viryam karavavahai. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone. Um, just to recollect where we are studying the Narada Bhakti Sutras. We have covered so far about 45 sutras. The last three, which we looked at last week, were related to what one should give up. Narada says that anything which is negative should be given up. The bad feelings in our heart should be given up, like kama, krodha, and so on. Even if there's a small thing which comes, a small wave of something bad which comes, it can become an ocean. So he warns us of anything negative which can come in the way of a devotee. So we'll continue from where we left off. We are going to look at three more, or two more today, actually. So we'll go into the sutra. Kastarati mayam yas sangam tyajati yo mahanubhavam sevate nirmamo bhavati. Kastarati mayam yah sangam tyajati yo mahanubhavam sevate nirmamo bhavati. Kastarati mayam yah sangam tyajati yo mahanubhavam sevate nirmamo bhavati. Looking at any aspirated consonants, if you go through the line, most of the first half actually does not have any aspirated consonants, but the word mahanubhavam, the bha in this word, bha is the fourth letter in the pa class of consonants, so it has to be aspirated. Mahanubhavam. Sevate, nirmamo, again, bhavati, bha, it has to be aspirated, okay, with extra air and a stress, bhavati. So now let's look at sandhis. The first word and the second word are the same. Kastarati, kastarati. Kaha tarati becomes kastarati. The visarga becomes is in the sandhi. So, but when it's split, it is visarga by itself, kaha tarati. Okay, so the same thing repeats twice. Maya yaha sangam tyajati, no changes. The yo here, yo mahanubhavam, the yo is actually yaha again. The visarga has become o, or actually visarga becomes u, and it becomes yo. Okay. Mahanubhavam, because of the ma, the yo yaha has become yo. That's the sandhi change. Similar change happens in this word nirmamaha. Nirmamaha becomes nirmamo. due to Sandhi. Okay. Nirmamaha bhavati, that's a split word. So now once we have seen that, we will look at the meaning of the words. Kaha. Kaha means who? Kaha. Tarati. Tarati means to cross. Cross what? Mayam. Maya means this entire delusion that which we see. Maya is delusion. Thinking that everything in this world is real. That thought is Maya. We see something which doesn't exist. That is Maya. So that's delusion. Seeing something which when it does not exist. Or believing in something which is not the characteristic of that. The Sanskrit definition is Ya, Ma, Sa, Maya. Ya means whatever. Ma, that doesn't exist, is Maya. Okay, so that's the meaning of Maya. So Maya, who crosses this Maya? Is a question. So Narada is posing a question, and he's posing it twice. Who can cross, or who crosses the ocean of delusion? Maybe a slight aside. Swami, in this first bhajan which he sang, Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam, Dustara. Dustara means tara is to cross. Dustara means difficult to cross. Dustara. Bhavasagara, this existence. Taranam. Taranam means to again cross. Crossing this ocean of samsara. Okay. Once we get caught in the Maya, it's a revolution of birth and death, ups and downs, happiness and sorrow, and so on. So that's all Maya, because they don't last forever. So that Swami says we have to worship the feet of the Guru. Maya. Manasa Bhajare is the instruction to the mind. Bhajare Guru Charana. But here Narada says, Yaha, whoever. Okay. Whoever. Sangam. Sangam we have already looked at. Sangam is association, attachment, connection, whatever you want to call it. Coming together with something. Sangam. Tyajati. Gives up. Sangam Tyajati. I think earlier maybe we have looked at Swami's saying Tyaja Durjana Samsargam. Tyaja means give up bad company. So in the same, here all Sangam is given. Okay. All associations are given. Sangam Tyajati, whether they are good or bad. Sangam Tyajati. Mahanubhavam. Mahanubhavam means great people. That's generally the meaning. Anubhava means all of you know experience. Okay, Mahanubhavam. So it's Anubhava. Okay, it's a feeling or nature also you can say. So people whose nature is great. Okay, Mahanubhavam. It also can be people, it can also can great things also. Great feelings. Feelings which are of a great state. Mahanubhavam sevate. Sevate, we have used the word serves here, because sevak has many meanings, because the next sutra also you will see. Seva means to live, to worship, to serve, all kinds of meanings are possible for this word, say. To be connected to also it can say. Okay, so to be connected to Mahanubhava. To worship. See, worship is nothing but being connected to God. Thinking about God. Doing everything with the thought of God. All that is seva. Okay, so Mahanubhavam sevate. So that person will always be connected to things which are of a higher nature, great nature. Okay. Nirmamaha. This mama means mine. It belongs to me. Type of feeling is mama. Nirmama means without the feeling of Mayin. That means not possessing anything, not thinking, oh, this belongs to me, this belongs to me. One who does not have that feeling. Bhavati means who remains nirmamaha. Okay, who is without that feeling of mine. Okay, so these are the people who will cross Maya, because Maya is very difficult to cross. The people who will cross are people who give up all association, who always is connected, worship great people or serves great people, or people who embody great nature, who does not have the feeling of mine, who doesn't think anything belongs to one. Such a person will be able to cross Maya. That's what Narada is saying. We will read a discourse of Swami, a very old discourse from 1963. But I thought we can read that end to end because Swami covers many of these concepts very nicely. Okay, Sai. Kalluri Veerbhadra Shastri declared now that the ritual sacrifices for self-enlightenment, which started on the 20th, had ended, but there is no conclusion for the sacrifice yajna. I'll stop here. This discourse which Swami is giving at the end of the Veda Purusha Saptaha Yajna during Dashara in 1963. Okay. All life is a sacrifice. When does the sacrifice meet its conclusion? Samapti. I shall tell you. Sama means Brahma. Apti means prapti, attainment, reaching. When Brahma is attained, that day, that moment, the sacrifice that is life can be said to have ended. Not until then. Today, this conclusion marks only the end of these rituals. Carry on the sacrifice wherever you are, by means of listening, contemplation, and deep meditation. Shastri today described the story of Rukmini Kalyana. Now, this is not simply the story of a marriage. It is a union of Purusha, the Supreme Spirit, with Prakriti, creation, the objective world itself. The Brahmin intermediary is the symbol of Vedic authority through which alone the merging of the two is known. Rukmini is the individual self, Jiva, and Krishna is the supreme self, Paramatma. She is suffering from the rules and restrictions imposed by the objective world. Egoism is her brother, worldliness is her father. But on account of her good conduct, her mind rested on God. So she was able to plan a method of reaching God. Rukmini's prayers, repentance, yearning, and steadfastness were rewarded. Her observance of the age-old code of good conduct, at last saved her. For she went out for the worship of the universal mother, goddess, Gauri Puja, before the marriage rite. In that temple, she was immersed in the worship of God. So she was liberated from the bonds by the God who was lying in wait. The parents and brother and all the relatives objected. But an individual is born to work out their destiny, not to act a role in someone else's drama. One is born to serve out one's sentence. When the sentence ends, one is free. You shall not remain in prison on the pretext that a dear comrade is still in. Just think of this fact. Rukmani has not met Krishna before. There was no preliminary wooing. The soul yearned and it won. They had met in the realm of the spirit. This is no ordinary marriage. Though the people who write about it and describe it in divine stories speak of it as a romantic adventure of a willful girl and a young carefree bravado, it is the merging of that with this. Tat, the Godhead, with Tvam. The same thing is referred to as this. If it is near and as that, if it is far. This is there, that is, when it is not here but there. That, Tat, the Godhead, is the same as this, Tvam. Only it is far away. But why is it far away? Because it is beyond the reach of the intellect, the senses, and words. Words are inadequate to communicate one's experience of Godhead. In fact, even the attempt is beyond the fortunate sage. Two pilgrims were passing through a forest and sitting under a tree. They were talking about the debt people owed to several mothers. One of them detailed a list of such mothers: the mother that gave birth, mother cow, mother land, and mother scriptures. The talk drifted toward the importance of cow worship, Go Puja, and they began discussing what exactly is meant by the word Go, which means a cow. There ensued a debate about its characteristics: a tail, two horns, four legs, an udder, etc. They rose up and wandered long to discover an animal with those items, and at last espied a buffalo, which they worshipped to their heart's content. So the conception of Brahman will also depend on each one's equipment and experience. But that does not mean there are so many different Brahmans. A man is called a daddy, son, uncle, grandfather, cousin, nephew, and husband. But that does not make him more than one individual. Our Vidwan Mahasabha, Society of Pandits, will establish this truth in the minds of all. It is not out to condemn any faith or attract people into a new faith. It will be engaged in fostering the positive attitude in spiritual effort. As Sanatana Dharma, the ancient, eternal, universal religion has always done. The society will encourage all to move forward from wherever they are in the direction of the Lord, whom they are free to picture in whatever form they like. No harsh word is to be used when referring to another's faith. No, for faith is a precious plant, and harshness might make it wither. Know the truth, experience the bliss. That's the message that these Pandits, Vidwans, will carry. Those who say that bliss, Ananda, is the essential nature of man have the responsibility to be full of bliss themselves. You inquire of people the reason why they look depressed, and you are not worried if they look happy. Why? Because depression is unnatural. It is against one's essential nature. Water is cool, that is its nature. So the hot spring in front of the temple of Badrinath, by the side of the ice-cold Alaknanda river, is looked upon with wonder. Be yourself, what to tell other man to be. People will follow only the person who speaks out of personal experience. Some people were on this bank of the river. Since they were strangers, they sought information whether the river could be crossed at that point and how. A lame fellow said, "It is dangerous to cross at this point, go further down." They did not believe him, for he could not have waded through. A blind man said, "You can cross, but keep more to the left from some distance and move to the right afterward." They did not follow his advice, for he could not have known. He must have been led by someone else. At last, a man came who volunteered to take them across. I have crossed often. I live on the other bank, and I own lands on this side. So they followed him with confidence and reached the other bank safely. A little boy is taught names and facts by the elders. It calls a thing a dog, another thing a tree, a third thing a stone. When asked, it says that is a man. How does it know? Because it has been told so. The characteristics of animals, plants, trees, birds, and human beings have been taught by the elders, and the child believes them and takes them on trust.
முடி கிளம்பிடுங்க.
There was like
Then, why can't you believe in God? You are told that also. For thousands of years, you have been told that there is God with many characteristics by which you can visualize Him. The Shastras, spiritual sciences, declare that the signs of God are such and such. The Shastras are based on the experience of spiritual aspirants, and they have as much authenticity as anything else. Many things are taken on trust, depending on the reliability, the impartiality, and attainments of the people saying them. The sages, rishis, are impartial. They have no intention to deceive or mislead. If you feel that you too must have the experience or else you will not believe, well, come and experience. There's no use simply coming one day and going away the next day saying, I have seen Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He wears a fine long gown and he has a wonderful hair. If you spend the time lounging in the hotels here or playing cards or listening to tales, how can you understand? Determine to discover, decide to learn, dive deep, and then you will know. Thousands have come now, and in the years gone by, many have no desire to know. Many who have the desire are unaware of the fact that they must pay more attention to actual experience of the mind, not to the sense impressions. You may be staring at something, but if your mind is not focused on it, you cannot cognize it. If your body is in this auditorium, your ear is in the hotel, and your eye all around the compound, how can anything be learnt? Love alone can understand love. Love is the manner of speaking, truth, the substance, dharma, virtue, the language, peace, shanti, the result aimed at. As a matter of fact, I am the embodiment of love, prema swarupa. I do not need any rest in my efforts to give you bliss, ananda. All this sacrifice, yajna, this gathering of Pandits, the Vidwan Mahasabha, Society of Pandits, is for your bliss. Join this great task of establishment of righteousness. If all this arrangement is done somewhere else, what a great noise it would have made. People would have scoured the land with lists of likely donors, worried this person and that, and finally boasted of their achievements. But here, only just a few know about this. It was all a case of the willpower, sankalpa, working itself by the force of its own goodness. And what do you bring to me? Only tears, tears of grief when you come and tears of bliss when you go. I am unattached to any event or plan. I am not worried at all by fear of failure. For I know that my plan must succeed. This Prashanti Vidwan Mahasabha, Society of Pandit, is not something new. It is eternal, Sanatana. Only it is now once again set on the stage on the age-old mission. This work of establishment of righteousness, dharma, is being done over and over again. You have now the chance to share in it So join this great task and make your lives worthwhile. These evening discourses of Pandits and my own discourses have to stop from tomorrow. For I must start meeting those of you who have brought huge lots of grief, discontents, difficulties, and problems for my attention. That is also my work, and I shall gladly attend to it. So I picked this discourse because Swami has touched many aspects. Sangam Tejati, no association with anything in this world. It also talks about Mahanubhava Sevate. That means great people who have done something, who have already experienced. Anubhava also means experience. Mahanubhava means one who through certain experience has become great. That means they have traveled the path. Following those people, one can cross. Okay. So Swami has touched all the points. We can again relook at the words. Okay. As you can see, who can cross the Maya? Who gives up association with people? Okay, or anything also. Mahanubhavam sevate, one who worships the highest. Nirmamaha bhavati, who doesn't have a sense of I. As you can see in the Discord, Swami says, I'm not even attached to anything, any activity, any event, any success or failure. So even his mission, Swami's avatar work, he was not worried whether it will succeed or it will fail. He did what he did, and that's how people derive a lot of joy. And many people have caused their sorrow and benefited from it. So I thought it will be a nice discourse touching on various aspects. He's giving importance to rishis who have shared their experience, and the pandita, the Vedic pandits who follow a certain lifestyle, who are able to share their experience and what they have learned. So all that helps a devotee cross this ocean of samsara or maya. We will go to the next sutra. Yo viviktasthanam sevate. Yo lokabandha munmulayati. Nistraigunyo bhavati. Yogakshema tyajati. Yo viviktasthanam sevate. Yo lokabandha unmulayati. Lokabandha unmulayati. Nistraigunyo bhavati. Yogakshemam tyajati. Yo viviktasthanam sevate. Yo lokabandham unmulayati. Nistraigunyo bhavati. Yogakshemam tyajati. We'll look at pronunciation related aspects. Yo vivikta sthanam. This tha, the tha there is the second letter in the tha varga, so it has to be aspirated. Okay. Sthanam sevate. Yo loka bandha. This dha is also aspirated because it's the fourth letter in the tha varga or tha class of consonants. Bandha. Bandham unmulayati. Nistraigunyo bhavati. Again, bha, we have already looked at, it's an aspirated consonant. Bhavati. Yogakshemam tyajati. There are no aspirated consonants. It is just that the ksha, the sha which comes after the ka, is cerebral sha, so the tongue has to be bent back or pointed up to the roof of the mouth. Yogakshemam tyajati. We will look at the sandhi splits. Okay. The yo actually is yaha, similar to what we have already seen. The visarga has become u, and that's how it becomes yo. Okay. Vivikta sthanam, I have just put a dash just to show that there are two distinct words, but no sandhi related change. But it's a compound consonant. It's called samasa. Sevate. Yaha again has become yo. Loka bandham unmulayati. I put dashes just to distinguish the individual words in this samasa or compound word. The bandham unmulayati. And u becomes mu. So loka bandham unmulayati becomes loka bandham unmulayati. Okay, munmulayati. The next one is nistraigunyo. Gunyaha, it's an individual word, I would say. I will just leave it. We can discuss that. Meanwhile, we discuss the meaning, but there's no sandhi related change. Bhavati, no change. Yoga kshemam, I have just separated the two words, individual words. So there are no sandhi related changes. Yaha vivikta sthanam sevate. Yaha loka bandham unmulayati. Nistraigunyaha bhavati. Yoga kshemam tyajati. We will. So this sutra is an answer to that question, which is posed in the previous sutra, which is kastarati. Who crosses? Who crosses? So the answer continues in this sutra as well. We will read the meaning. Yaha means whoever. Okay, whoever. Vivikta sthanam. Okay. Sthanam, I think all of you are familiar because it gets used colloquially also commonly. A place. It also means a state of being. Okay. Vivikta sthanam is also a mental state, also can be called sthana. Where the place where the mind is dwelling. Okay. Sthanam. Stha comes from the word being established. Stha is to establish or stand. So to be established, okay, that way also sthana. The place where one is established, one fixes oneself, that is sthana. Vivikta. This word has multiple meanings if you look up in the dictionary, but it starts from the root which is to separate, okay, or to analyze also is vivikta, like dissect and see everything, that is also which. Because vicharana also comes from the word which. So vivikta sthanam. So that means there are multiple meanings. You can seclude yourself, you separate yourself from the world. That means you are alone. You seek solitude. That is one of the meaning. Another meaning is one who has analyzed and the mind has reached a place which at the end of its analysis. Or you can also take the mind a state of vairagya. It has detached from the world. So that is also vivikta sthanam. So there are multiple meanings one can give. So physical solitude, mental detachment, and to be in a state of solitude. All these are covered by this word, vivikta sthanam. Okay. So I put secluded, place or state. That's what I've said here. Sevate. Okay. Here again the word sevate has come. So I said mention sevate is to be connected. So I will use the same meaning here. It also means one who resides, who stays permanently. Sthanam itself, I said established. So one who remains in an established place. Established place which comes out of long vicharana inquiry or separation from this word. All that is covered by this word. There are meanings of purity also. That means you become pure by discarding blemish. You separate blemish, and that state is vivikta sthanam. So there are multiple meanings. I have not listed all of them here. So there's no end to understanding the meaning of this word. Sevate, so worshipping, honoring, being connected to, serving, all that also can be said. One who serves, that stage also means our mind is always dwelling on it. We are always working towards it. Okay, sevate. The next word is loka bandham unmulayati. Loka means world. Bandham is bondage, to be bound by something. Unmulayati. Unmulya means uproot. Mula means root. Unmulya means lift it up. Okay, that means uprooting the loka bandham, bondage to this world. So whoever uproots the bondage to this world, also one who crosses the ocean, crosses this Maya, ocean of Maya. So loka bandham unmolayati. Okay, uproots worldly bondage. Nistraygunyah bhavati. Okay, nistraygunyah bhavati. Let's take the word. There are two words which I would like to discuss. One is trai. Nis trai gunya. Okay. Trai means three. Gunya means one who has the guna. So three gunas, whoever possesses all these three gunas is traigunya. Means a person who has sattva, rajas, tamas. These qualities, whoever has is called traigunya. Or any object which has also is called traigunya. So everything in this created world has these three gunas. Traigunya. Nis means without. Without these three gunas. Nis traigunya bhavati. This is something which in the Bhagavad Gita also Krishna tells Arjuna. Nis traigunyo bhava. Okay, he's giving the instruction to Arjuna, be one who is without these three gunas. Okay, bhavati means who is. So one who is without three gunas, that person also will cross this Maya. The last one is yoga kshemam tyajati. Okay, yoga kshemam tyajati. Everyone would have heard this word being used in Bhagavad Gita because Krishna assures Arjuna, Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam bhaja tvam oh no tvam sarvapapibhi mokshisham. Not is saying yoga kshemam vakhamya. Okay, one who is ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paripasati tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vakhamya. So that is one of the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Ananyas chintayanto mam, one who is always thinking of me without any other thought. Ye jana paripasate, whoever, all the people who worship me, paripasate, tesham, their nityabhiyuktanam, all their needs, whatever they need, yoga kshemam vahamya. I look after the yoga and kshemam of the nityabhiyuktanam. So what Krishna is saying, they nitya abhiyuktana, whatever they need in their daily life. I vouchsafe the yoga and kshema of those. Okay. Yoga is having it together, acquiring. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, if they think of me, I will make sure that they acquire what's needed. And kshema means protection or nurturing that or preserving that. I look after both. That's the meaning of the word. So if you think of Krishna all the time, he will give whatever is needed and look after your welfare. So that's the meaning. Of course, Swami has given the slightly different meaning for that. He says the yoga is our merger with God and kshema is preserving that connection to God. That is also vouchsafed by Krishna. That's what Swami says. But we'll come back to this. Sorry for the slight distraction. So yoga is joining. So acquisition. Kshema is to preserve it. And acquisition and preservation, they give up. Tyajati. So the devotee who wants to cross this Maya will give up the desire to acquire and also preserve. Because it's something which we all of us spend, time, we had to earn money, we had to save it for the future. Because we have more faith in money or possession than even God. A devotee doesn't think that all this have to be collected and preserved. Only such a person will cross Maya. So that's what Swami is, that's what Narada is telling. We will read a discourse of Swami. Okay, very nice. When the newborn child weeps, all around are happy and their faces are lit with smiles. This is strange, for when someone weeps, others should not laugh. But this is the fate of man. He weeps when he weeps that he has come into the world. But these who have been here long are not aware of the truth and they are misled into joy at petty comforts and transient pleasures. Man is happy one moment, the next he is plunged into grief or fear, and the moment after he is deep in worry. When the 7 colors of the spectrum revolve together, the effect is no color. When they stop revolving, the 7 colors can be separately identified. When the 3 blades of the electric fan revolve fast and no blade is separately noticeable, they give cool comfort. So too, when the different qualities of sattva, rajas, and tamas are unrecognizably integrated, then only is man happy. Supari is brown, pan is green, chunnam is white. But when these 3 are together chewed, the color is red. So I will pause here. Swami is giving us different meaning. When people say we should not have all the 3 gunas, he says the 3 gunas should be merged, integrated into one. That means they are not 3 anymore. They are not separate. Such state is called Nistraigunya. To be beyond the 3 gunas means the 3 gunas are merged and they have all become one. And Swami says only then a person is happy. Then Swami gives this explanation, another example of that. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, all gunas are one mean, no gunas. Am I right?
Yes.
Or transcended from that,
Yes.
right? Okay. Thank you.
So Swami is giving another meaning. He's saying supari is brown. Supari is brown means, the betel nut, which, when we eat with pan or, tambulam, the betel nut is brown in color. Pan is green. That means the betel leaf is green in color. Chunnam, that is the chunnam which we use. I don't know what English word, I cannot think of one. Chunnam, which the white paste, that is white in color. Swami says when these 3 are together chewed, the color is red. So the distinct color is gone. Another color has come, which is red. Same way, the 3 gunas also have to be chewed and made into one. Everything should merge into the other. That's what Swami is saying. And then we get the color red. We'll read further. The 3 gunas are equated in sadhana, spiritual practice. The result is Shanti. By doing sadhana, the 3 gunas become one. And that results in Shanti. Okay, so actually I say, so how can, I will stop here. Okay, we'll just read. The lamp is Sattva guna, the wick is Tamo guna, the oil is the Rajoguna. When the 3 are integrated, they give light of jnana which illuminates all problems. So we can ask, how does the sadhana brings all 3 together? So for example, if you're doing a puja, we had to first sit quietly in one place. That is nothing but tamas, sitting quietly. Then the person is doing activity puja. So, you pour something, you do some activities happening. So rajas is also happening. So there is tamas, which is being quiet, not being disturbed, but you're active. Within that tamas, you are all active. But then on top of everything, there's sattva guna, thinking of the Lord, thinking everything positive. These three things went together, that becomes sadhana. That's why Swami says, when you're singing in bhajan, sit quietly, but don't keep your hand and mouth also quiet. You have to sing, you have to clap, and your mind is engrossed in the Lord. So in all sadhana activities is such that all these three are brought together. Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva. So these type of practice, Swami says, will result in Shanti. Because we are able to integrate all these together, our result which we enjoy is Shanti. So we are going to have Akhanda Bhajan, and Akhanda Bhajan, whoever attends Akhanda Bhajan should come out with peace. That means we have not done something right. Generally, we should not go away unhappy. So nothing wrong with Akhanda Bhajan, nothing wrong with anyone around. Everything is within us. If we have not derived Shanti, no, others are not the problem. The environment is not the problem. The opportunity is given. It's for us to enjoy. So I will continue, Saira. So that is bringing all three together. So if you have unease is there, means one guna has overtaken the others. And that results in lack of Shanti. So we will continue. When a plane flies across the sky, it leaves no mark on it. No streak that lasts. No furrow or pothole that interferes with further traffic. So too, allow the feelings and emotions to cross your mind, but do not allow them to cause an impression. This can be done by inquiry, by quiet reasoning within oneself, more than by listening to lectures or study of books. Little children are trained to walk by means of a three-wheeled contraption, which they hold and push along. The pranava is such a contraption with the three wheels, a, u, the Omkara tricycle. So I just want to point out what is meant by vivikta sthanam, inquiry. Through that inquiry, you reach a place which is steady. So that's what Swami is talking here. So to allow all feelings and emotions to cross your mind, but do not allow them to cause an impression. This can be done by inquiry, vicharana, by quiet reasoning within oneself, more than by listening to lectures or study of books. So that is vivikta sthanam is explained here. Okay. So now Swami is talking about the three-wheeled walking, cart which the baby which uses to learn to walk. Holding it, man can learn to use the 2 feet of bhakti and vairagya. If he gives up his hold on the Omkara, he plumps down on the ground helplessly. If he walks on with the help of the pranava japa, he can certainly realize the glory of the Brahman, which is the very substance of the universe. Naga Mahasaya, the household disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, Paramahamsa, was able to escape the chains of samsara by becoming humbler and humbler, smaller and smaller, with less and less egoism, and so tiny that he could creep through to safety. Vivekananda, on the other hand, expanded himself until he identified himself with the entire universe, and so the chain broke, unable to contain his majesty. Naga Mahasaya felt, I am the servant of the servants of God, Dasoham. Vivekananda felt that he was the master, the Isha, who was Idam Sarvam Sada Soham. So these are two people who Swami is telling, they crossed Maya. One was Naga Mahasaya, Sri Ramakrishna's one of the disciples, the household disciple of Ramakrishna. Vivekananda, who was a renunciate, a sannyasi, he also crossed, but they used different techniques to reach the same place. Swami is giving them as examples for us to follow. So in the previous one, Swami Mahanubhavam Sevate. Think about what the great people have done and learn from that, and that also takes one across. Okay, Saira Mantik, I guess.
No, the Naga Mahasaya, do you know anything about him more than this? Like, how did he creep in that? Like he became smaller and smaller, he says.
So no one knows Nagamasaya.
Yes, sir. I have never heard of the name.
Yes. So that itself shows that no one knows. He is called M. He is to be called M. He has written a book also on his experience with all about Ramakrishna. People who know Ramakrishna very well know him. So he's a household devotee who came quietly, and through his humility, even though he was such a giant of a spiritual giant, no one knew, but people who around knew he was such a person who has transcended the impacts of the world. He was able to live and help many people around him. That's what Swami is saying. Vivekananda is because of his spiritual giant.
Magnanimity, I would say. Yeah.
So everyone knows him also, you see. So, but he was not unaffected. He was unaffected by that also. Even though he
Oh.
was revered so much, Vivekananda was not unaffected. He was unaffected by that because he did not identify himself as a human person. He identified with the divine. And that's what Swami says. I am Isha, I am the Lord. That means it's not ego, thinking that I am one with the God, Lord. So he became a sannyasi and he walked, led a life, and he has done such great service to humanity.
But this Naga Mahasaya remained a householder?
Yes, always.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
So Ramakrishna had two sets of devotees. One, some we don't know unless you go into the Ramakrishna order and read about them. We will not know because they were so humble. No one even knew who they were, but they were spreading goodness around them.
I think he had the two sets like householders as well as sannyasis. Still, the mission is like that, isn't that?
See, when during Ramakrishna's time, there was no sannyas order. He did not institute it. It is only after Ramakrishna's departure, Vivekananda and a few others who felt at the same feeling or thinking wavelength, they came together to form the monk order of Ramakrishna mission. So Ramakrishna himself did not give anyone sannyasa.
Sannyasa. Okay, thank you.
But Swami is just giving us examples of people who have done. The study of them will always help. We'll continue. He was always steady in the conviction that he was that. This is called Jiva Brahma Aikya Anusandhanam, the practice of the consciousness of the identity of the individual and the universal. This is real Kalyana or holy rite which man must endeavor to celebrate. So Swami is connecting this, how Vivekananda thought of God, how he was one with him. Swami is equating with Rukmini Kalyanam, as you can see. That joining of the Jiva with Brahma, okay, Jiva, Brahma, Aikya, becoming one, Anusandhanam, and remaining that. So Swami's real Rukmini Kalyanam is the Jiva attaining the Brahman. Actually, this, even if you take Suprabhatam, the last verse is Sita Sati Sama Vishuddha Hridambujata Bhakvankana Karagrihita Supushpahara. It says in Prashant Liyam, Swami, the Suprabhatam says there are devotees like Sita and Sati. They were waiting with garlands of good flowers so that they can marry the Lord. So they become one with the Lord. So that is, this concept is even in the Suprabhatam in the last verse. That means all of us should be waiting to merge with the Lord, become one with the Lord. So that concept, Swami, is so Jiva Brahma Aikya Anusandhanam is properly, nicely explained in the last verse of the Suprabhatam. Okay, Sai. We'll continue. The identity will not develop ahankaram or egoism. It will merge the ego in the universal. The idea of I will disappear in the thee, which is the only entity one becomes. Okay. Becomes aware of. Okay. I think you will. Okay. Which is the only entity one becomes aware of. Okay. I shouldn't have put a comma there. Okay. So what? So I'll pause here. So Swami is telling when Vivekananda felt that he was one with God, there was no egoism. Okay. Only God remained because he vanished actually. The little Vivekananda was not there. He only thought of God. He identified it with that. Okay, that's what Swami is saying. Egoism, conceit, and ahankaram is the bane of the age. That is, in today's world, egoism, ahankaram is the bane. Everyone has egoism and ahankaram. Whereas Vivekananda did not have that. This is what Swami is trying to clarify here. In every field of activity, pride is undermining evil. Even sannyasins and the presiding monks of monastery institutions are not free from this fatal flaw. Eat like a dog, wander like a fox was the lesson an old age sage taught his disciple. He should not have any thought of the morrow or about where to lay his head. So I'll stop here because a real monk will not acquire and preserve. So eat like a dog, wander like a fox means you eat when you have to, but then you are not carrying anything with you. Was the lesson old sage taught? He should not have any thought of the morrow, that's about tomorrow, or about where to sleep. The sannyasi should not even worry, oh, where can I sleep today? What can I eat? Those are not thoughts in a sannyasi. Okay. Yoga kshemam tyajati. He is not worried about. He doesn't dwell on that thought. So that comes through very nicely. He should not cater to the senses or count his age or feel his pulse and complain of ailments. He should not celebrate his birthday or encourage others to do so. The essential attitude that one should cultivate is to engage in all activities that are one's duty without getting attached to the work. As the sky is clear, blue is not affected by the clouds or rainstorms, lightning or thunder, but remains the same in spite of those temporary disturbances. The mind of man too must be clear and clean in spite of all the storms and stress of life. Edison, the great scientist and inventor, used to be in his laboratory for hours and even days together, concentrating on some experiment on which his whole attention was bent. Milk or bread or tea was pushed through the door, but they were all untouched by him. So great is the concentration that science demands. Consider how much more should the sadhaka be fixed in ekagrata, single-mindedness, in order to achieve success in the subtler and more slippery sphere of spiritual conquest. That is the supreme task of man, the victory for which he has come equipped. He must be light and bright, like a lamp on the waters of the Ganga. If weight is added, it will sink and the light will go out. The weight is attachment to worldly goods, the pursuit of sensory pleasures. Just ponder for a moment how many millions of men have died so far. Have any of them taken from here anything to the realm into which they have disappeared? A man was dragged to court. He asked 3 comrades of his to come and bear witness to his innocence. One friend said, I shall not move out of the house. Let them who want my statement come here. The second said, I shall come up to the doors of the court, but I dare not get in. The third said, come on, I am ever with you. The first is the wealth one has accumulated. The second is kith and kin who will come as far as symmetry. The third is the fame, the honor he has won. When a person dies, his property and things remain at home. They do not go with him into the beyond. His relatives cannot also go. Only the good and the bad name he has earned will last. So he has to live in such a way that posterity will remember him with gratitude and joy. To lead the good life, constant prompting from God within is a great help. That inspiration can be got only by constantly reciting the Lord's name and calling on the inner springs of divinity. The name is so valuable, an instrument to win His grace, to realize His presence, to picture His form, to remember His glory, that even if it is repeated from the heart once in the morning, once in the evening, that will make a griham, house, instead of a guha, a cave. The lamp of the name, when it is lit, will illumine the household and make it a home instead of a hole. If a lamp is kept burning in a room, it may go out when winds blow in from the windows. The indriyas are the windows, and when they are open, the name lamp will not burn steadily. So keep out the outfaced senses close to the influences that attract and concentrate on the name of the Lord and its beauty and sweetness. Note how happy, contented, and carefree were the great saints who revelled in the name. Jayadeva, Tukaram, Kabir, Surdas, Tulsidas, Ramakrishna. By simply shouting Shivoham, you cannot become Shiva. Develop the qualities of divinity like universal love, absence of attachment, etc. Then you will be entitled to assert Shivoham. Though you may not assert at all, for you will have no feeling, no aham feeling then. There are some who say that in Kali Yuga, man can save himself by means of this Nama Japa recitation of Lord's name, and that this is a special concession for the weaker mortals of today. Probably they think that it is quite easy to reel off quickly names of the Lord on the tongue like a tape recorder. It is not only in the Kali Yuga present age, in every Yuga, Nama Japam saves man. Bhima in the Mahabharata is considered to be a strong fighter and a very emotional and short-tempered hero. But really speaking, he was a great bhakta. Once Krishna showed this to his brother when Bhima was fast asleep. They could hear from every pore of his skin the sound of Nama Japa emanating ceaselessly. Dharmaraja had uttered some white lies during the war in order to foil the plans of the enemies, and for this he had to spend a few minutes in hell. When he was approaching that place of torture, his very nearness conferred on the unfortunate dwellers such refreshing peace and coolness and comfort that they prayed to him not to desert him. Dharmaraja learned that they were able to get some relief because he had accumulated merit by good deeds. Then Dharmaraja declared, let them have all the consequences of all my good deeds, and let me be impoverished of all the joy due to me. This made them happy, no doubt, but Dharmaraja did not become poorer, for the very act of renunciation was such a colossal meritorious act that colossal joy was available for him in heaven, besides the quantity already earned by him. Every act has its consequence which cannot be escaped. Except by God's grace, by the grace of the Lord, the grace of the Lord can be won only by virtue and truth. So develop Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema, cultivate Vairagya, non-attachment to things and persons. Remember death, which is around the corner, and time is fast fleeing away. Take recourse to the ways of liberation before you are bound. So, Swami has touched so many things which are in this sutra which we looked at, like Loga Bandham, okay, Yoga Kshemam, all that have to be given, okay. And Swami says this bound, that's bondage itself, bandham, okay. And also it talks about how we should chant the name of the Lord. He says you can't just reel out the name of the Lord like a tape recorder. Now that today is Akhanda Bhajan, I thought it's a good reminder for us when we assemble for any bhajan, what should be our state of mind? Where should it dwell? These things will help us progress in life. Okay, with those thoughts, I will stop here. We have only covered 2 sutras today. If there are any questions and if I have an answer, we can share. Otherwise, we can close the session. Saira. I think there being no. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Saran, brother, there's one thing you have, I know that is, you are telling about the Jiva,
Jiva Brahma Aikya Sandhana.
Aikya Anusantam. Please,
Anusantam.
Anusantam, please.
See, Sandhanam means
Anusantam.
Sandhana means that which is granted, the where you stay.
Okay.
Okay, Anusandhana means whatever you have acquired through that, you can say. That, okay, Sandhana.
Okay, and acquired with that mean because it comes together, right? Jiva
So you remain united.
remain united.
Remaining united with the Lord. When the Jiva joins the Brahma, Aikya, so Anusandhana means the state of being united.
Okay.
The state of the Jiva being united
Anusandhana.
with Brahman.
Okay.
Jiva Aikya. Jiva Brahma Aikya Anusandhana. So we'll close with Samasta Loka prayers. Sir. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Sairam, everyone.